and call to order the regular board meeting of April 6, 2020, 9:30 in the small hall. Let's rise for the invocation of the pledge of allegiance.
Heavenly Father, as we gather here today to conduct business for Trader Estates, we ask for thy divine guidance, divine protection in this crucial time that we are all facing. We pray that you will have your way in this meeting. We ask it in thy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Secretary, take the roll call.
Mary Chandler.
Here.
Lori Dalton here. Gordon Elton. Here. Pete Price. Here. Sandy Simonich.
Here.
Mike Sansoni.
Here.
Dwayne Trotter.
Here. At this time, we'll take comments from residents and questions. I know they're in the other hall. If there's anyone wants to come in. Anybody gonna come in? from the other
Yeah,
hall?
they're making a room.
Good morning. Carol Durand, 6604 New Jersey. I want to thank the board for the endless hours you put in over the whole year. And secondly, I'd like to ask a question based on my observations of past dialogue and during your various meetings and workshops. I think I missed something on, or maybe I maybe it didn't come through on the meeting February 3rd. It was stated that you were going to blast us with information on March 16th regarding all the policies and procedures and the rules and regs that have been changed that you've been working on through the year. And that meeting, unfortunately, I think it was the first one of the virus, and I did not come, and I did not see it on TV. So I went to the site, YouTube, to see it. The one before it's there, the one, well, I guess the budget meeting is there, but on the March 16th, there's a big TV station sign, and you can't get to it. It's in Arabic, and so I can't view that meeting to find out if my questions would have been answered then. But my question is, you're going to legislature with all these changes, and I'm wondering if we as the residents are going to get a list of what's been changed. I know you've done it little by little by little, and I can't, put it all together, but I'm wondering, you're going to put it in a format for the attorney. I'm wondering if we as residents are going to get a copy of that so we know what laws and rules are changed. And it's going to be a statute, which means those rules will then supersede what we have now. I'd like to know if I'm correct in that. I hope my question's understandable. Thank you for your time, but basically that's what I want to know. I'd like to see it all in print or somewhere. Thank you.
Sandra Torn, 6905 West Bottom. I was just wondering if we were going to have the new board members announced here today. Thank you.
Anybody else?
One more. MD Marshall, 6509 Dakota. We got an issue which I think that people have dealt with or will be dealing with. It's a nice letter from the Charles Hackney, Manatee County property appraiser. We haven't just put a new home on our site. Now he's trying to get me to apparently get it taxed as real property. They send a form and ask for your titles and how much you paid, etc. I don't know if we're supposed to be, if that's supposed to be everybody in the park is taxed as real property, because they say it hangs on whether you own the property, the land under you. Of course, we all do, in a sense. However, in another sense, I think we're governed by the state's Park and Rec District rules. I'm getting the impression it's going to double or more the taxes if they do this. Nobody knows?
We can't respond.
Yeah.
We respond when you're done. We respond to all the questions that are being asked of us. We can't respond while you're talking.
Okay, I'm done.
Anybody else?
No, there's.
Is that it? Seeing nobody else, will close residents' comments and questions. Anybody wish to respond?
I'd like to take a stab at some of this.
Sure.
All right, there had to have been some form of a misunderstanding about information in written form of all the PPs and rules and regs that changed over the years. Nowhere in my list of things to do did that ever show up in my head. So that's never been touched, never been looked at, never been worked on. So just let you know that you didn't miss it in the March 16th meeting, but I get that we've got a problem, and I'll take a look at the website and see what I can figure out for the March 16th. I'm not sure if you're going through YouTube and you're having trouble, that might be the issue. Try going through the website, trailerestates.com, current events, click on the videos. There's a list, a file over to the left that will give you the historical meetings, and try to look at it that way. I'll take a look after this meeting and see if that's the problem on the website, then I'll work on getting it fixed, but it's not going to get fixed fast. It's going to take, with the world that we're living in, it'll probably take about a week. But it's on my list.
Let me take a crack at a few of these. With regards to the county appraiser, we have no control over the county. Our tax rate's a flat tax rate. It's based on each home, and it's assessed at, is it $1,200 now, or $1,300?
It's going to be
This
13.
It's gonna be
that's why-
13 coming up, yeah, starting next budget year. As it relates to the county appraiser, I would suggest you contact the county, find out what they want you to do. We have no jurisdiction or authority or anything to do with the county appraiser. As it relates to the new board member, on the agenda today, we have under old business, filling of 2 positions possibly. Hopefully, that will take place today, depending on what the board wishes to do. With regards to legislation, the process works this way. Currently, we have the information in front of our attorney to have it presented in the next legislative session, which would be the 2021 session. He's currently trying to work it into legislative language. If the legislators take it up. And they limit the number of pieces of legislation they will take in any one session to determine it. It would then probably have to come back for a referendum, is my understanding, to be approved. Is usually how they've been doing it, and throwing it in that way. As it relates to the PPs, I don't recall anything on the March 16th one as it relates to it. We do have on our website all the PPs. You can obtain every one of them on the website. And that's the ones that I have on it. Anybody else have any comments?
If I'm understanding Carol right, is the proposed changes available for them to review?
Since it's not a document that was public record, it's an internal memo going to our attorney, the answer would be no at this point.
But our list of what we were going to address has been attached to every workshop.
Yes, it has.
And
Yes.
it's been a growing document, so you
Right.
just have to go to the last workshop and you got.
You can go to the office and get the workshop that way for it. Yeah. Any other? With that, we need a motion to approve the Board of Trustees minutes of March 16th, 2020. Do I have a motion? Sandy will move.
I'll second it.
Dwayne will second it. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Aye.
carries. Thank you. I need a motion to approve the Board of Trustees workshop meeting minutes of March 16, 2020. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Dwayne, second by Gordon. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the special Board of Trustees meeting of March 23rd, 2020.
I'll make the motion.
Dwayne, second. Pete, discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are you ready?
Sure.
Treasurer's report.
As of this morning, the checking account balance is $34,166.46. Did you hear that okay, Lori?
Yep, got it.
And the investment account is $1,153,094.01.
Got it. Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
Motion.
Gordon, second by Pete. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Bills that need to be approved.
I have 5. How would you like me to do these? List all 5 and then we can approve them, or do we have to approve them one at a time?
One at a time.
One at a time, okay.
Sorry.
That's not a problem. I have a bill, a February 29th bill that didn't get brought forward before, for the good case for $57.
Do I have a motion? You're making the motion, right?
Yep, Mary makes
Mary
the motion.
makes
I'm making the motion, yes.
Dwayne second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next one, Mary?
I make a motion that we pay a March bill, again, with the good case for $105.50.
Dwayne seconds it.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next one, Mary.
A case against Charles Miller, for $171. I make a motion we pay that bill.
Second by Sandy. Discussion. Actually, that's not 171. I got one for 456. The 171.
That's the next one I'm gonna do.
Well, you had the 171, was previous balance, you've already paid that.
Yeah, we didn't get that approved at a board meeting though, so we've got to do that.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
okay.
So who did the second? Who
Sandy
seconded?
seconded.
Sandy? Okay, thank you.
Discussion? I guess we just did that. All those in favor signify by paying the bills, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next one?
And then we have another one for Charles Miller for $456. I make a motion, we pay that.
And second? Dwayne seconds it. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries.
The last one I have is related to 1611 Michigan for $19. I make a motion, we pay that.
Do I have a second? Dwayne seconds it. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I have one more bill, Mary.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I have a bill for $500
Oh,
for the preparation of an audit response as of September 30th, 2019 for $500.
okay, I didn't print that, I didn't see that. So, okay, I make a motion that we pay the $500 bill for the audit response.
Have a second? Dwayne seconds it. All those in discussion, I'm sorry. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, moving on to staff and attorney trustees' comments. Sandy?
I have no comment, I have no new business.
Elton?
With this current conditions, I haven't been out contacting people as much. There is a property on New Jersey that we expect to have the staff do the yard, and that has been neglected for a long time. A letter has been sent. We've got a little bit more time to wait till that either responds or not.
Is it mic on?
Yeah,
What number are you? Gordon, what's the number on your mic?
number 2.
Okay.
It's not recording.
It's kind of weak.
I'll just start up with that.
Okay, so I was saying there's a property on New Jersey that the owner hasn't responded yet. It's got a few more days for
Is that
the,
the one at 6515 New Jersey?
that sounds right. And that's was in a estate, and it was a new owner showed up recently, so we finally had a proper address to contact them. So the letter has been sent, we're just waiting for the time period or for a response from their owner before we ask the crew to go and proceed to clean it up.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
The property in New Jersey, on the corner of New Jersey, where they put the new house up, seems to be right on the lot line, or right on the swale line. They can't put up a walking back door exit, and they couldn't put an air conditioner on that unit. And I don't know how the county approved it, because when they try to put an air conditioner on it, they're going to be in violation of the setback. Have you tried to discuss that with the county, or discuss it with the owner?
No, I have not.
I hate to have them, because they already have the property set. And what's gonna happen now is they're gonna try to put an air conditioner in there, and it's gonna be in the swale. It's the only way, either that or they put it on the roof, I don't know how else they're gonna be able to do it. But I hate to have them see them spend the expense and us come along, or the county comes along later and says, you can't do it, and they end up going to court. I mean, it looks like a nice house. But I hate to have that just sit there and, fester. So all the other ones are kind of holding off because of the epidemic, is that
Yes.
the question? Are there any of them with regards to the dog issues that you could go and see For example, in 1908 Iowa, 1818 Michigan, and 2204 Ohio.
Should those addresses be in the minutes? If they
Yes.
should, then you need to slow down and do it again.
1908 Iowa, 1818 Michigan, 2204 Ohio. Now, they may not be here, they may have gone home. But keep those in mind, see what you can do with those.
May I make a recommendation on that house on New Jersey? It would be beneficial to us to get a hold of one of the ARC members as well as call code enforcement, so code can actually come out and take a look at the drawings that are posted to see if his property line does run down the center of the swale and the AC has already been placed
It has behind.
behind. And the question is the last time we took a look at a new home going in, is the stairs still have to go back there even though he has two doors in the front. But if they do not attach the stairs to the house, it's legal. I don't know how that works, but it would be my recommendation to get a hold of code and one of the ARC members and actually look at the drawings that have been approved by the county.
Well, actually, you can go out to the property, lift up the code box, and look at it that way, it's there. I don't know how I got approved either, to be honest with you. Dwayne.
This is the informational reports that we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of good news and bad news. Received an email back from Jeff Bishop, who is in charge of the traffic study. What he reported to me is that the data collection portion is complete. However, the engineering study is going to take another 4 to 6 weeks. I'm kind of optimistic about that they're actually doing an engineering study, which means they may have enough data and speed and cars going through there that it might warrant the stop signs and whatever else that we're requesting. But again, I'm going to have to wait till another 4 to 6 weeks before I can get a response back. For projects that we've gone through the park here, the prep and refinish of the large hall is now complete. The ADA doors, the work is in progress. The 2 doors right outside the small hall are complete. They're working on the post office, which should be done by this Thursday. That job will then be done. The replacement craft room floor was awarded March 31st, and that work is going to be underway the first part of May. What they're doing now is coming in and taking a sample of the floor to make sure that it's completely dry. And if it's not dry, then we have another little problem that we're going to have to increase the price on that. All of the remaining pool lounges have been sent back out to the company for the painting and restrapping. That should be back before the virus is done. The seal coat of the parking lot was awarded on March 31st. That project's going to start April 30th, maybe the 1st of May. All of the RVs and boat trailers out on the north side of the post office, they've all been contacted with the exception of 4 that we can't get a hold of. We'll still go ahead and be working on that. The zero-turn mower has been purchased and received. And what else do I have? One of the things I've been reading on is the back gate at the northwest corner of the park. They have had, let me back up, there's been numerous robberies over on the north side of the park as well as on 2 or 3 of them on Illinois. With that, it's been requested that that gate be closed. Unfortunately, that is a platted bicycle route. That sidewalk is actually the property of the Manatee County. That gate can't be closed. A year ago, the district's council and myself went to the Public Works Director and tried to get that gate closed, and it was almost his recommendation that that gate be taken out. So we're not going to be able to close that. It is being closed at dusk as well as 6 or 6:30 in the morning, I think. Pretty close in those time frames. However, I do want to thank all of the individuals, the resident individuals that have been taking their time out to go through the park from 9:30 till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, doing their crime watch. It's much appreciated. I think everybody in the park is very appreciative of what you're doing. Take that time, your own time to go out and look at that. Mary, would you like me to go through the cost on the projects that we've done for your budget?
You can just put them on my desk, Dwayne, and I'll get them if you don't mind.
Okay, my totals that I have here, we're saving about $22,380. So I'll put that on.
Wonderful.
Say that number again, Dwayne.
I'm sorry?
Say that number again, 22,000.
$22,380 from the differences in the estimates that we have provided.
Excellent.
That's it.
Pete?
Yeah, the May and June summer dances are being canceled. After that, we'll be looking at it from month to month. Other than that, I don't have anything.
Lori?
Nope, give me just a second.
No problem.
Alright, I'm still accepting recurring reservations through April 30th of 2021. Please be sure to include your bylaws, current officers list, or for less formal groups, your PP 39 with your reservation request. I do not have reservations, bylaws, officers, or PP 39s for Dates for Girls, Drills for Skill, Advanced Pickleball Play, and Neighborhood Watch. If any of these groups still exist, please let me know and get me your paperwork. I also need a PP 39 for meditation, and I've gotten some paperwork from pickleball, but it's going to be a slow move forward as some things are changing. I'll keep Stephen abreast of what's going on. And I need a PP 39 for art expressions, hand and foot, men's Bible study, pottery class, and Wii bowling. That's it.
Last meeting, somebody brought up, asked us about the issue of the agreement for trash. And went back and looked at it. We entered into the agreement in January of 2011. It included Monday through Saturday, bulk items, waste yards, recycling, pickups, 215 roll-off hauls per year were included. After that, it was $200 per haul. If you figure we had 3 bins out there, 3 haul-offs, that's a total of 71 units. That's a little over 1 per week per unit. The cost of the contract was $10,500 per month. Yearly, it's $126,000 per year. And the landfill increase will have to be passed along. That was the only additional thing. There's a 5% landfill by the county. That's the one that's up in February of 2021. Since we last met, the governor has issued an executive order. Matter of fact, he's issued several of them. The latest one is 2091, which is essential services. Today I got a copy of the essential services that are allowed. It's 19 pages of essential services. Elected officials aren't covered in that one, but they are covered in another one under the one dealing with, I forgot, I don't have it with me, but it deals with that whole issue of outside, no quorums. I think I posted it all over the park. And we're going to have a discussion in the workshop how to handle that at that point. The only place we're having a problem here in the park currently with obeying the rules is the beach. For some reason, even though we've marked it off, told them to stay out, people seem to feel that the beach is one area they should be able to go to. It isn't the one person that I'm worried about. about it's the second person, and the third person, and the fifth person, and the seventh person, and then suddenly you got 20 people at the beach. I don't understand why people can't obey rules, but that seems to be the only area where we seem to be having a problem with keeping safe distance. Enough of that. Moving on, reports from standing committees, beautification committee. I don't think there's anything to give on that line, I don't think. Okay, we got old business. The next is the filling of the board trustee position. And we have 2 positions open. The first one is a 2-year term, which ends on December 31st, 2021. Does anybody wish to nominate anybody for the position?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Denise Beauchamp for the 2-year position.
Do I have a second to that nomination? Peter, second. Any other nominations? Any other nominations?
Mike, I'd like to nominate Karen Murphy.
Okay. And do I have a second for that?
Is that for the same position?
I'm assuming for the same position? Mary?
Yes,
For the 2-year position?
yes.
Okay. Any other nominations? Did somebody second it? Peter second. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? All those in favor, say, nominations closed, pardon me, I'm ahead of myself. First we'll take up Denise. All those in favor of Denise, raise your hand. Elton's in favor of it, Dwayne's in favor of it,
Hang on just a second, I'm scribbling.
Pete's in favor of it. That's 3. Anybody else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. We'll take up Karen Murphy. All those in favor of Karen Murphy, raise your hand.
I'm raising.
Okay. I've got Lori and Mary. So let's see. that gives me
Sandy's not voting?
Sandy, did you vote on either one of them? She didn't vote, neither did I. Great.
Well then, 3's not enough to put her on, is it?
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of us, you need 4.
Yep, you need 4.
I'm gonna vote for Denise. So that gives you the 4 you need for the 2-year position. So Denise Beauchamp, I'm assuming if I pronounce her name, which fills a 2-year position. We now have the nomination for the unexpired 1-year term ending December 31st, 2020. Do I have any nominations?
Karen Murphy?
Lori nominates Karen Murphy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Peel seconded. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? That's the final time. Any other nominations? Nominations are closed. All those in favor of Karen Murphy, raise your hand. Lori, Pete, no, Dwayne, and myself. And I'm assuming Mary? Mary?
No.
No? So that's
Still 4.
That's
Lori, Pete, Dwayne, Mike.
4. So Karen Murray,
I'm not in support of filling the 1-year position at this time, so.
we have 4 votes to fill the position, so Karen Murphy gets the 1-year term.
Are either of them here?
Are either one of them here?
Because normally after they're,
I know, I understand.
sorry.
Okay. I will contact them and swear them in. Do we have to go to the meeting? Do they have to be sworn in at a meeting?
I don't know, you'd have to ask,
I'll have to ask the attorney.
Yeah, because it's always been done at a meeting, so I don't know if it has to be done at a meeting.
Since neither one are here, I don't feel it's appropriate to give them a position until they're available. But we will give them a position once they are sworn in. Okay, there is no new business. I don't know if there can be any reports of clubs and organizations.
Yes, there is.
There is?
Yep.
Okay, who's got a report? Lori?
Christmas dinner, again, I just want to thank, we're done with whatever we're doing for the Christmas dinner this year, but I want to thank Bocce, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois dinner, and now Sharecraft for already making their donations to the Christmas dinner 2020, and I want to thank all those groups that have promised to donate. Without you, this wouldn't be the success it promises to be.
Any other clubs organized?
Computer Club. Even though with the restrictions on getting together and everything, the Computer Club has been able to continue providing one-to-one assistance and a lot of assistance over the phone with people that have issues with their phones or computers. So please, if you need assistance, please either email the Computer Club or give them a call. There is a slide on channel 732 with the contact information.
Any other clubs or organizations? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make the motion.
Dwayne makes a motion, to a second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. I have it 12 after 10. Okay. I'm going to call the Board of Trustees workshop of April 6, 2020 to order at 10:13 a.m. Is there any additional items to be placed on the agenda?
I'd like to add a discussion about the parking,
I'm sorry, say that again?
about parking permits and signage
Parking permits, okay.
and smoking policy.
Parking permits, signs, and I'd like to add, set up for alternative means during the virus or the epidemic, and establishing an ARC policy. And Mary, you got consider alternative investment options?
Yes, I received a phone call from Iberia Bank that they are reducing the rate of return on our money market account to 0.5%. They did offer some alternative options for us to consider. That rate of 0.5% is not guaranteed. It can go down to 0. So we can purchase a 6-month CD and lock in that 0.5 rate so we're not at risk of it going lower. Or we can purchase a 3-year annuity at a rate of 2.5%. We can take a portion of our fund balance that is secure that we're not going to need and purchase an annuity. If I put $400,000 into that 3-year annuity, it's going to, over the 3-year period, give us $30,750. The income from that would be more than what we're going to lose with this drop to a 0.5%. Now, these were rates that were given to me when I put this agenda item on. They could not guarantee these rates. I don't know what the rates are today. So I need some guidance as to what you can give me permission to do once I call them and find out what the rate is and what I might be able to lock into. Do you want me to secure a 6-month CD at whatever the rate is so we can lock in, or gamble with what the rate will be? And depending on what the rate is for a 3-year annuity, it's still going to be better than 0.5. Do I have support to purchase an annuity to get us some investment income return that we're going to lose with our rate reduction?
Mary, how much were you recommending to put in that 3-year annuity?
400,000.
400,000, okay.
I went back and looked at the fund balances per month over the last 3 years, and at no point did we ever go below like 475,000. So I felt 400 was a safe amount. I definitely don't want to go any higher, to lock away and get that return from.
And that's deducted out of the $1,153,000 that we got?
Yes.
Was there any discussion about the penalty if we had to withdraw it? Or is it?
I'm sure there is one, but I don't know what it is. I'd have to find that out. I don't see a need for it, but especially with the increase in assessments next year.
And have you ever looked at the state investment fund?
Have I looked at what?
The state has an investment fund for local governments that they can participate in. I don't know much about it myself.
We've never ever participated in it, so I don't know anything about it.
What's the feeling? You want to give her permission to look into it?
Well, that would be my recommendation. I don't know what the state investment fund is either, but for the time being, I would recommend that we go ahead and deposit that 400 into the 3-year.
I agree, that gives us 3 years to figure out the
And
state.
then go ahead and look into that state investment. That might be.
Mary, did you make?
Now, do I have to bring this back at a board meeting for final approval, or can I purchase it now?
Well, you have the responsibility, if I understand correctly, as the treasurer, to secure the banks for us. And, you probably have to bring it back, I think.
She's not spending the money.
No,
It's just a matter of where it's located. We didn't vote or did we vote on when we changed companies to Iberia, we voted on that, but we didn't vote on how much she put on which account and that sort of stuff. She took care of that.
Question along that line. Is that annuity collateralized or insured? Or is that money all at risk?
Insured.
So we wouldn't have
It's
the,
insured, I believe.
Then you got the problem of exceeding the $250,000 guarantee of insured. Everything beyond 250 is not insured.
That's true everywhere.
But then again, I'm thinking we have an obligation, a fiduciary responsibility to make sure the money is secured or insured. You may have to go to 2 different banks to accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Or I could do one for 250 and one for 150. There's nothing to say I can't do 2 annuities.
I didn't think they were individually insured, it's cumulative insurance.
Gordon, I think you're right from my limited knowledge of the bank. It didn't matter where you had, what account you had your money in. Each entity was insured up to whatever the maximum was. So it didn't matter if you had $251,000 or $42 billion in that particular bank, you were only insured for $250,000. So splitting it at Iberia wouldn't help.
I'm sorry, Mary, you want to repeat that, please?
No. I was gonna say, if you can give me permission to make this investment decision, I'll verify with Iberia Bank about the, insured limit. And you know, or if it's collateralized.
Is that okay with the board?
Yeah, I'm fine as long as our risk is not greater than it has been.
I think we're gonna find that's a true story, Gordon, but please do check that, Mary.
Okay.
Okay, so the feeling that the board is go ahead, look into it, and also look into the state investment fund.
And is she allowed to?
Okay.
Yes, she's allowed to go ahead and
So she's allowed to go ahead and move forward with in investing those funds?
Yes.
I appreciate that because the rates are only gonna continue to drop, if we wait. So thank you.
And I would expect the state fund is probably a daily variable rate.
Okay. Having no knowledge, I'd have to defer. You want to discuss parking permits, signs, and smoking.
Right. There's been a recent problem identified with vehicles being parked on that small parking area just on the north side of the post office. There's no signage there at all indicating what type of parking is allowed or not allowed. Now, I don't know if there's been previous discussion about that. How is that different than the parking on the south side of the post office or to the west side of the large and small hall here and that? I expect the intent was that our generic policy that restricts or prohibits overnight parking would apply to that area. And that brought up the question about whether we should have any kind of signage in the other areas. The dirt lot on Beach, or on Park, it does have a sign, or two signs on it. And the question of which state regulations might apply, and if we've got a unauthorized vehicles will be towed sign down at the lot along Park, and a phone number for Elmer's Towing. In checking with the office, it appears that there hasn't really been any towing, at least for a very long time. And whether we're obligated under which state regulations to tow, to post vehicles, because Florida statute 71507 addresses parking and towing of vehicles, and it gives a variety of instructions about the obligations of the tower and the property owner, etc. But it does say in one part, this section does not apply to law enforcement, firefighting, rescue squads, ambulance, or other emergency vehicles, or vehicles that are marked as such, or to property owned by any governmental entity.
So what you just told me is that you can throw the state rules aside, we can set up our own rules as we see fit.
That seems to be the reading on it. So whether we want to put up any kind of signs on the rest of the parking areas or not to prohibit overnight parking, our policy does have a generic statement. I don't remember just which part it's in.
Probably the very end of D, very last page of Part D of Rules and Regulations would be my guess. But I didn't go to the office and bring my book in here.
PP 35 governs the issuing of permits,
Right, but
but it only
may I use
addresses
my phone
permits.
mic? Sure. So what were the permits?
PP 35,
I know, what's the question about the permitting?
Well, it seemed like PP 35 is only governing permits, but it does include a statement that signs will be posted in accordance with Florida Statute 71507. So it sounds like we've imposed the 71507 requirements on ourselves before we be allowed to tow vehicles.
Is there a problem with it?
Well, we have vehicles parked in non-compliance with our policy consistently. And the problem is finding out who they belong to.
Where are they parking, what's going on?
They're parking in the area just on the north side of the post office, on the north side of that area.
Parking overnight?
Parking overnight.
You're talking about the no parking area?
No, between the Rose Garden and the RVs.
Okay.
That is parking spaces.
I'd suggest we put up the sign, and if they don't comply, we get in touch with them, let them know that they're not in compliance, and ask them to move it.
And
Yeah.
one of the problems is finding out who owns the vehicle.
I go the whole different route. I put up a sign that says, residential parking only. Tow owners will be towed at their own expense. No overnight parking.
I found our overnight parking, very last piece of Part D of our rules and regulations. It does reference Florida statute. It says pursuant to Florida statute 715.07, all overnight parking on Trailer Estates Park and Recreation District property is prohibited except by permit only. And then it goes on to explain how to do the 6-day permit over here. But the very first sentence clearly says on any Trailer Estates property. So that says that even though there's no signs over on the 10 property, that prohibits me from parking my car over there on the 10 property and just leaving it for a week and a half. Because it says on Trailer Estates property. So do we have to put up a sign everywhere, or do we just, if we're dealing with an issue, do we put a notice on those cars? And maybe tell them if it's left there again, or?
I go the other way. I just call the towing company and have them towed.
And if we're going to, our PP 35 at least says that we will put signs up in accordance with 71507. And that has some regulation about how many signs are needed based on the size of the entrance to the parking area, etc.
Yeah, but if we're not, if 71507 doesn't apply to us, then the size of the sign doesn't apply either.
But we've applied it to ourselves with PP 35.
That's the nice thing about being a governmental agency. We can change our minds.
So,
And I would suggest you put, if you're gonna put up any sign, no overnight parking, owners will be towed at their own expense. And then when you start seeing cars parked there, call the towing company and tell them to come pick up the car.
there are cars routinely parking on.
My suggestion is, again, put the sign up, you see them, call the towing company, tell the towing company to pick them up and move them. And then the owners can come complain to us that we have the proper sign saying no parking overnight, you can't make it much clearer than that to them.
I'm sorry, Mike, tell me again, what are we supposed, what are we?
Well, I think we should put up a sign that says no overnight parking. Owners will be towed, cars will be towed at owner's expense. And if we find the cars that are parking there overnight, and he sees them, he calls up the towing company, has them tow the car. And then when they come for the car the next morning, and they don't see it, they'll understand that, oh, there's a sign here saying, if that's the only place you have a problem. I mean, the other place I see a problem, I saw Saturday, is over by the marina, because there's no place to park their trailers, what they're doing is they're pulling their truck in, pulling their trailers across the 3 or 4 parking spaces. And the neighbors are calling me saying, what are you gonna do? I'm saying, what can we do?
I saw the same thing, so I stopped in and talked to the Joaquin and as well as the owner, and that vehicle was removed. It was a friend of theirs.
I'm assuming they're still open,
Oh, yes, yes.
and they're open longer on Saturdays now.
No, the contract says that they're open till noon, but with the onslaught of the virus and the county closing the public launching areas, everybody took it as they're gonna shut this one down. They ran down and grabbed their boats, so he was trying to accommodate them on getting their boat out at the same time, so they could either prep it to get ready to go home, or, but no, he still was operating out the contract that was of noon.
So that boat ramp is still open at the marine.
Oh, yeah, it's not a public ramp, that's just for trailer estates and the business down there for him to do launch boats and go. But any other person outside of trailer estates can't be coming down and ask if they have that gate open and use it as a public launch.
So back to the parking, I don't know if we have, I haven't asked anybody in the office, if we actually have an agreement with Elmer's Towing or anything that's listed on the sign on the park, main parking lot. So I guess that would be the other part to verify whether we have an agreement.
Call Elmer's up and find out if we do.
Yeah, and that, so,
And if we don't, find a company that's willing, to do the towing,
yeah.
we'll go from there.
And
The spaces that you're talking about, what are they used for? Or what's the purpose of that? Just for the post office overflow
and laundromat.
and the laundry?
You know, that's what I see people using it for. I don't see people parking in that north part, they park closer to the building.
Right, and then this is all because one individual was putting his car for sale there and left it.
Well, that person, but because there was a phone number, I was able to contact them. There was a second vehicle that was parked there for an extensive period of time as well, that I did not know who the owner was.
So is it just that area that I have to worry about a sign, or am I going to put signs throughout the park?
Well, that's the question, I think.
Because it's posted over here, it's posted at the marina,
How about on 10, as you enter onto the 10 property?
there's nothing at 10.
You might want to put one just as you enter into the 10 property, just to be able to close up any loopholes.
I know of 2 cars being parked back there because they had just painted their driveway, but normally there's not people parking in there. Oh, except for the boat, I forgot about the boat train.
If they get a permit and they put the permit in the window, that wouldn't faze me if they were parked there instead of there, as long as the office is aware of it and we're good with it, and it's less than 6 days and they've crossed all their Ts and dotted all their Is. But for me to just have company and say, well, I've got 4 cars, I'm gonna put 3 of them over there, and we'll just use the other car to run back and forth as a shuttle, that's not gonna cut it.
Yeah, for consistency purposes, we probably should put signs, have a place that we don't want people to park, because if we have one towed and we don't have a sign, they could come back and say, well, you have a sign posted other place else, but here, if you wanted this posted, you should have posted it. But we didn't.
Okay, just one other observation, right over here on Park Lane, where we have it posted, residents on that street park their cars there overnight instead of using their driveways. Do I tell it?
Yep.
Yep.
Before.
I tell them before you did that.
I'm in support of the towing to Dwayne, however, you might just triple check a factoid before we tow a car. I've been told, and I don't know that I buy this, but from the center of the road to so many feet off the road, and that we can't stop them from parking on that right-of-way area. Now, I think I can, because at my house, the county has a right-of-way off the center of the road, which means that, oh my gosh, if they want to dig something up, they can tear up my driveway till I'm purple. But I still have the right to say, Dwayne, you can't park your car on the apron of my driveway because that's really my property. They have the right of way to it, so I think we're golden. but you might just double check because somewhere along the line, someone was, all right, someone was instructed that as long as they stayed on that apron area, that was right away that they were not in violation. And they've been given bad information that needs to be fixed before we yank their car. That's all I'm saying.
Well, but it does say no overnight parking.
Yes.
And that's our property, okay? And the right of way belongs to us, not to them.
I'm with you 100%, Mike. I'm just telling you that I believe that they were given bad intel about 3 years ago. And just as a courtesy, I would recommend that we correct that intel and then look at towing.
Did you hear who supposedly was the source of that intel? Who told people that?
I'm not 100% positive who did that, but I'm trying to think back to who my source was, and I think my source is reliable enough to say, I would like to, hey, just an FYI, you can't park here anymore. We know it's been going on for a while, it's not happening anymore. It's gonna start being towed if they're left overnight. Hey, this isn't gonna happen. There's only 5 or 6 houses over there. That's just my recommendation, because I really think that officially they were told 3 or 4 years ago that it was acceptable.
And I think it goes all the way down though. I think it goes all the way down.
And then, okay, that's possible. How many houses are there? 12?
Yeah.
And we pretty much confirmed what you said because we have not enforced it. And all these
Right.
others just turned it back to us.
And so maybe if there's 12 houses, and given the current environment, maybe we need to send a letter to those 12 addresses, and say, beginning May 1st, beginning May 15th, whatever our magic number is, the vehicles are gonna start being towed, and mail them out.
Good idea.
And, and we can announce from the board meetings, hey, look, no overnight parking on our property means no overnight parking, and that includes this area that has been consistently abused.
Let's put this on the workshop for next meeting as well. And I can give an update about the towing company, because that's the other piece of this. Whether we have to get a new contractor agreement with them, or what the status, how to go about doing that.
Since this
It's my
is
opinion that you don't need a contract, you just call in the towing company, and you just have to provide that information to the owner your car has been towed to, John Doe Towing Company.
The Florida statute requires
we don't have
the
to play
name
by
and
that
phone
rule.
number of the towing company would be on the lot.
We don't have to play by that rule. You said
Right,
that
but-
it doesn't apply to us.
But if your car's towed on a
I
Friday
understand.
night and you go Saturday, who are you gonna call?
Right, I know,
Well, I guess I'm trying to protect you from that call. The statute does require the towing company to inform the local law enforcement within a certain number of hours of towing that it's been towed. So I guess if they get a call about a stolen car, they'll have that information that it's been towed.
It would be nice to have it on the sign, but I hate to see us we don't have to wait 2 weeks to move
Go
this
ahead,
forward.
Yeah.
This is not a votable item. We've all agreed that we're gonna do this. You can just find out and call Dwayne.
If there's a contract needed, was what I was thinking, put on.
If there's a contract, they'll come back with the contract in a format.
And I guess that would be at the regular meeting rather than the workshop for a contract.
Correct.
Correct.
Yep, it would be a motion to approve the contract.
Okay, who do you want to write the letter to these homeowners? I see nobody wants to volunteer. You want me to write the letter?
But it should be from you and me.
I'll let you write the letter.
If you have any trouble finding out the names and post office boxes for that street, let me know. I can help TJ with how to find them,
Yeah.
track them up.
Okay, you have one on, we done with the signs.
Yeah, that was all.
Smoking?
Smoking, I brought that up before, and come to find out, the state has reserved all authority to regulate indoor parking to the state, or smoking to the state. We have no authority to implement indoor parking, indoor parking regulations, indoor smoking regulations. And the state does not have any regulations on outdoor smoking. The
But-
reference in our rules and regulations, Part C, Section 4, refers to Manatee County Code. My guess is that Manatee County Code reference is probably prior to the state reserving the smoking control to themselves, because that section in the county code, part of it doesn't exist and part of it has to do with a totally different.
That's what I found, Gordon, that's why I'm over here chuckling.
Yes.
Is it has absolutely nothing to do with the smoking, so at least we need to strike it from our
Right.
section 4. We maybe don't have to move it forward as an official, all that, but yeah,
It's Florida statutes 386.204 that regulates smoking and vaping. And apparently vaping is the new term used legally instead of e-cigarettes. However, that statute does include a definition of indoor work areas. And I would like us to add and define that this walkway between the small hall and the offices here as an indoor workplace.
we don't have to do anything special with that. In my reading of the 386-204, it said that if the roof was more than 50% covered, and that roof is 100% covered in that walkway,
And
and
the
therefore
walls
that
50%.
can be considered indoor.
Yes.
So we can prohibit the smoking under that roof area without batting an eyelash.
Yeah.
Do we want to write it up on paper? That's a question, but
Right. My proposal was that we write it up on paper so it's clear to anyone reading it. But my alternate, if the trustees didn't really want to put it in the policy specifically, that we post no smoking signs in this area. Because people are smoking out here under this walkway.
yeah, we can do anything, Gordon. We've got walk your bikes through the walkway and people ride through there all the time. So, I'm not sure we're gonna accomplish anything.
I don't either. How many signs do you want me to put up? I mean,
Bring back an old song.
Look at the gate at the pool.
is it really that big of a deal that somebody walks through with a cigarette there, or put up 15 signs that says no bikes, no skateboards, no smoking, no jumping? You know, how far do I want to go with this?
It'd be nice if we should ask him that too, but
How does that go? You can't correct stupid?
yeah.
Well, people don't realize they're not allowed to smoke in there.
Well, I guess what I'm hearing is, we put all the signs we want up, people are gonna still do, I mean, the beach is a prime example. I mean, you put all the signs you want up, they just won't listen. Unless you got some kind of mechanism to enforce it, unless you're gonna spend 12 hours a day down here watching people walking through, there's no way in God's green earth that we're gonna be able to enforce this policy. And I have no problem putting the signs up, I just don't see where, how we're gonna be able to mandate people to not smoke where they wanna smoke. I mean, I get irritated when people ride through, I've yelled at people as they go through here, and give me this look like, well, can't you read?
What I can do is remove the butt holder right outside this door, but when we have the dances during the season, everybody comes out and has a quick cigarette before they go back in. So I would have to leave those there, but, you know, I could take that one away, which might,
All that's gonna do is put butts on the floor.
well, yes.
All they're gonna, if they don't have an ashtray, they're
I
gonna
can
just
see
stomp it
that.
out on the cement.
We can talk about this all day, but we don't get a complete.
Yeah, we're not gonna solve anything, yeah.
I just, you know, I know it's a real concern, but I just don't see how we're going to enforce that at all.
I mean, I have a hard enough time right now having some of the policies we do have being enforced.
Yep.
You know, that, you know, it's just, you know, you go down the list, you can go and look at everything, you go from the dogs to the property over at, you know, over here in Pennsylvania, it's got the tarp over the trailer that, you know, it's a mobile home, set up, the 2 mobile homes on one site. I got weeds all over the place. I mean, there are rules that are being broken that, somebody reminded me this isn't a full-time job, and I may agree that it isn't, but until we get some handle on some of these problems, I don't see smoking as a high priority when I've got other concerns going on in the park. I mean,
Well, I think smoking is a bigger health risk than almost any of the other violations that are going on. Secondhand smoke is a established concern, and I think that it's reasonable to put no smoking signs in this walkway here, so at least people are aware. Whether they comply or not is a different issue. Certainly enforcement is a major difficulty.
What about like around hospitals, you have to be so far out? We are government buildings, is that the same thing?
we can make it the same thing if you wanted to.
We don't have the authority to govern, restrict outdoor smoking.
We're not restricting, you can still smoke outside, we're just saying you have to be 15 feet away from the building.
But then that becomes every building, and that means that, you know, the dances, the people who step outside for dances, the people who step outside for the dingos, for any events and stuff.
They have to go out on the road.
Yeah, exactly. Not incredibly safe.
No, go ahead.
I understand where he's coming from, I just can't see the enforcement, putting more signs up. I guess I'm just against the no smoking out here.
Is there a lot of this going on?
I don't know how often it happens. I'm walking through there, I've noticed it a number of times.
Well, I can tell you one person that was smoking is one of our part-time employees.
I can take care of that.
And that's an issue we can take care of. Temporarily, we have eliminated part-time employees, so part of that issue has been diminished by the fact that of the layoff. But other than that, I haven't really seen a big problem with smoking. I mean, especially right now, when most people have gone home, there's like a ghost town around here. And I don't know what else.
I don't either.
The people I've observed smoking out here seem to be in the evening from the people stepping out from the card games in this small hall. Because that's not happening currently. But that doesn't mean this isn't a short-term kind of topic that we're talking about. This is an ongoing thing.
I think we're making a mountain out of a molehill. I mean, I understand the issue of secondhand smoke. I mean, you're talking to a recovering smoker. I used to smoke 3 packs a day. And I do have problems with smoking. But I just don't know how we govern and manage that logistically. You can put the signs up, you know, but that isn't gonna solve your problem. Other than you can tell people you aren't supposed to smoke. I mean, I just don't have an answer for you, Gordon. I don't know if it's worth spending any more time on it at this point.
Well, as a drop, I'll just say I'm disappointed that your trustees aren't interested in pursuing this increased definition.
I just see bigger problems throughout the park on people maintaining the rules. If you look over on New York, there's a boat that's sitting out there. If you go over on New Jersey, there's 2 trailers that are sitting out in the driveways. Throughout the park, there's numerous violations, but yeah, I'm gonna worry about a no smoking sign up here. I don't know. I just totally agree with it or disagree with it.
We have so many signs throughout the park now.
Yeah.
Just ignore them.
You have one post with all these signs that go there.
Yeah. With the identification that the Manatee County code reference that's in the rules and regulations, I hate to reprint the entire rules and regulations just to strike that out. Can we leave it in the version, and I'll put it in my book, and at some future, when we do something with rules and regulations, I'll scratch it out that time, and anybody who tries to look it up between now and then can giggle, just like I did at what the topic really is that we referenced. Is that okay?
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
You have one on signs? Gordon?
That was part of the parking.
Okay, I have one on signs. I still have the issue with realtor signs being placed all over the place.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about a problem, that is a problem. That needs to be addressed, and we need to find a way. I mean, one of my suggestions jokingly is picking up all the signs, putting them in the office, and then have you call the realtor saying, come by and pick up your sign.
And I've called those realtors, or I don't know if there's any new ones more recently. I talked to all the realtors except one, left a message with the other one. They all indicated their willingness to comply.
No.
I know one realtor did go ahead and change the signs.
Well, my,
And I would, my next step was I'm planning to write a letter to the realtors.
my suggestion is bypass the letter, pick up the signs, put them in the office, call them, and tell them got 15 days to pick up the damn signs, and if they don't, we're tossing.
I didn't think we had the authority
Oh,
to
we
get
do.
onto private property.
We do.
Please
Under the
don't.
regulations, we do have the right to do that. If the trustees are allowed to go on private property, we can take the signs off, we should take the signs off, we should put them in the office, you should give them a call, telling them, you got 15 days to pick up the damn signs, and if you don't, we're tossing them.
A year ago, that was a good idea, Mike. Right now, I don't think it's fair to drag all that possible contamination into the office and then require the TJ deal with those increased number of people who are outside of this community coming into our office and opening the door for them. 6 months from now, a year from now, that might be a great idea again.
Well, if that's a
But right this
concern.
second, I'm concerned with,
If that's a concern, if the signs are being picked up, they can always place them outside the maintenance door down there and say, your sign is located just outside the maintenance building, pick it up.
that would work. That's up to you guys now. That would work. I don't want to see it go in the office.
Let's do
It'd be
that.
just outside the dumpster.
What regulation gives the trustee the authority to go?
It's in the deeds and restrictions, I believe. I don't have the policy book here.
I don't have my policy book either.
Yeah. But it gives us the right to go onto the property,
I think it is in the deed restrictions.
you know, that we have that right, and all we're doing is enforcing the policy. The policy is to put it in the window. It's a clear policy, it isn't an abstract policy. It says place it in the window. And I can't help it if your awning covers up your window, that's not my problem, that's your problem. The policy says in the window. I mean, I've walked past several of them on the way here today that are still up. And one's a good friend of mine, you know, that got it outside his property, on the outside. And, you know, I understand why it's there, because his window awning comes over. But that's not my problem.
If they're attached to the awning though.
No, it's not, it's
Or
attached.
is it one sign of reasonable size
Okay,
in
no, but-
the
but
window?
In the window.
If the realtor sign is attached to the railing or
No,
something, I
it's-
can't remove it.
Yes, it says the window, it's real clear policy.
Okay, but are you saying I have the authority to remove that sign if it's bolted on or wired on to the railing for a porch?
Again,
I would certainly be calling the real estate agent and say, if this sign hasn't been removed in 2 days, it's going to be removed.
yeah,
I've done it.
give them fair
I've
warning.
done it.
Tell them, here's the scenario, we got the sign, our policy is this, you got 2 days to put it inside the window. If you don't, we're taking the sign and tossing it.
Well, I find it real interesting, you're putting the pressure on me to do this when it's never been done in the past.
Oh, excuse me, I've done it. I have been very forceful on those signs. The same as the boats, the trailers, the boat over on the marina. Just, enough said.
Set up for alternative meetings during this epidemic. I watched the county meeting last week. They had people call in, the members of the commission were calling in. They just had the chair there. People did come in, they asked questions, and they took phone call messages from the public, and then related the messages to the chair, and the chair would read the question and then respond to it. I'm thinking about going that route. What's your take on this? I mean, I'm trying to prevent people from being at risk as much as I can. I think that's one way of doing it. I don't know if our phone system can take that many people. I'm assuming it can.
Well, we would have 3 phone calls today?
Well, no, I'm talking about the board members being on the phone, like Mary's on the phone. Okay.
That's a different phone system, isn't it? We would still call into the system back there where, in previous summers, we've had 4 or 5 people call in, 3 or 4 people call in and be on the phone while we conducted business, and that's not been a problem. That's whoever we're hiring to handle our phone call, we tell them how many calls we're expecting to that. The big question is, if I as a resident, just Joe resident, have a comment or question, I would call the office.
Right.
And I would talk to presumably TJ. TJ would scribe the question, and then she would relay the question over here, for you to address.
I'd actually have to have Joyce come in.
Right.
Because I'd have to have somebody be the runner. Is that something you want to do?
This isn't including the question about the quorum, this is just about public participation.
Well, the quorum issue has been removed pursuant to the executive order by the governor.
Right.
So the quorum issue is no longer an issue as long as the executive order stays in place.
Correct. And my understanding, this phone call is a conference call set up, so if 3 of us were not here, we could all call into that one number
Right.
and
Correct.
participate.
Correct.
The only thing I would like to see slightly different, Dwayne, or Mike, is as long as I'm in the state, I'd like to be here physically. You put us on opposite sides of the room, that's fine, you run it. But I have concerns that I won't be able to accurately scribe meetings if I'm on the phone. Because I remember from years past, all the concerns with not being able to hear well. Mary, are you still there? Are you hearing all of this real good?
I'm hearing it just fine.
Okay, so maybe that's not a concern, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to make sure that I don't put people at risk.
Right,
And I think one of the ways of doing that is eliminating the physicality of people being in the same room. I can't do much for Bill, but Bill's far enough away from me that I think he's safe. I hope he is. But other than that, do you have any objection to going that route? I mean, does that make sense to people?
I think it's a good idea.
Now, the other thing is, if we don't have agenda items, I'm not going to call a meeting. I don't believe in meetings for the sake of meetings. So if you got issues you want in the workshop, I'm suggesting you put in the PP, was it 38?
Yes.
so we know you've got something you want to talk about in a workshop. Or if you've got something that needs to handle as business in the meeting, I need to have that in advance. Because otherwise, it makes no sense to have us on the phone or calling a meeting just for the sake of having a meeting.
Well, you know, like, in years previous, and we can change, I'm open, but just letting you know, in years previous, we didn't have meetings in the summer when we didn't have a quorum here, and I know the quorum has changed, the definition, the executive order and all that stuff, but to just have a workshop, we really can't accomplish anything in just a workshop, because we then still have to come back at a meeting and do the production of that in a meeting.
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
Which can always move the aspect of having that meeting and that agenda item at a meeting when you want to have a meeting. I mean,
Okay, that's fine,
you know,
just,
I'm just trying to find ways of not spreading something
right,
in this community if I can help it.
I agree.
To the best of my ability. With that, I'm gonna sit down with TJ, make sure this can be worked out. I may have to communicate with you to say either it's on or it's off and why. I don't think that would be a violation of the sunshine law. I don't believe, just to make you aware of what we're going to do. Okay, then we'll go ahead and go that
The
route.
question of a quorum, though, that this is under executive order, so soon as that is lifted.
Then you gotta go back and
And I
yes.
thought part of this was a discussion about our availability during the upcoming months.
No, we did have that. No, we didn't get to that.
And the question of whether, if we don't have the capability to establish a quorum electronically,
Well, then
will
you-
we be able to have meetings? And what's the schedule? You'd asked for our
I did.
schedule before.
And I had, okay, I have Sandy's, I have Mary's, I have Gordon's, yours, I had a question about, you're just gonna be gone July 6th, the rest of you, you're not gonna be gone the 4th, what period, is that just that one day,
The one day, that July
July 6th?
6th meeting, and then should have been August.
August, then you're talking August 3rd and 17th, and August 8th and 21st.
Yeah.
But are you gonna be here at all, or are you gonna be just gone for those meeting dates, the time frame wise? Are you gonna be gone from the 1st of August to the 24th of August, or August 31st?
That's changed, but I was going to be gone for an extended period of time in August.
That's what I needed.
Yeah.
That's what I needed, same for September.
Right.
Okay, that's what I didn't have from you. I have Lori's. Mine, I haven't decided yet, depending on what's going on here, I may be down here longer than I want to be, but that's a whole other issue.
It's on my desk.
Okay.
It's on the calendar.
I'll get the other two when they come in. Again, last year, when we didn't have the quorum of 5 people, we canceled meetings. And again, if we don't have an agenda item, I'm not calling the meeting. It doesn't, as chair, I don't believe having a meeting for the sake of meeting accomplishes anything. If I got something we need to work on, then we need to have a meeting. So those are, yes,
The governor's executive order has some say in this too. As long as it's in effect,
right.
we could call in, I could call in from Michigan, and we could still do
Yeah.
the meeting.
Right, you have the
But when
quorum.
the executive order expires,
Right.
gloves are off, we're back to, we have to be here physically and, yeah.
Physically, you have to have 5 people here.
Yep,
But nowhere in our regulations does it require us to meet. We will
Right.
have meeting dates the 1st and 3rd of every month, but we can't cancel those meeting dates.
right.
Does that answer your question?
Mostly.
Last one Mary, I'm passing out to board members, and I'll make sure they go on your desk. I asked the attorney, what we could do with regards to the art committee. Could we have the information dropped off on a public relations trustee's desk, with regards to the permits? He says from a legal standpoint, art members, cannot be made to drop off the approvals to the public relations desk and have to contact the resident for the permits. He did think, however, we could put pressure on the art members to follow through on necessary activities to protect the interest of the district and ensure that we do have compliance in enforcing the deed restriction. And I asked him, well, how would we do that? He says, establishing a policy. We could establish policies that their terms are for 1 year. Currently, there is no end date of their appointments. We could establish an appointment for a certain date. And he suggested in April of next year, that way you've been on the board, new members have been on the board a while, they'd have an understanding of what's going on and make the appointments then. And, you could make them fixed terms of 1 year. You could make them multiple years. He'd recommend we don't do that because then you're stuck, if somebody isn't doing what you'd like them to do, you're stuck with them for that period of time because we have no way of removing them. We can establish criteria we'd like to see them accomplished. Not policies, but we could establish criteria that we'd like to see them do, such as enforce the deed restrictions, such as meetings, such as, reporting back to the board, not as a rule, but as a criteria for reappointment or reconsideration for appointment. Doing it that way. We could also put in there how to remove them from the committee. I'm gonna have to do some further research. I got some information I'm working on, but I think it's gotten to the point where some of these ARC members aren't examining the deed restrictions, and they're starting to cause us some nightmares down the road. An example I give you is in New Jersey. That house has never been allowed to be put up the way it was. I don't know if the persons were sleeping when they did it. Again, the place on Pennsylvania is another example of a problem that should never have been allowed to occur. I know what they said is that it's under a canopy, it's on wheels, it's got a hitch to it, but there isn't a house in this park that wasn't brought in that way. I mean, common sense would have said, no, you can't do it. Now we're going to have to go out and figure a way of enforcing something that we shouldn't have had to get involved with in the first place. Any comment?
Which house is that?
With canopy
Yeah.
on Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania, okay. So they got an art permit to do that?
Well, I called up the art person that approved it. He says, it's under a canopy, it's got wheels on it, it's a mobile home.
Thought it had to be under a carport.
It is under a carport. He did put it under a carport. He put a tarp over it and says that's a carport.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And then what he did is he moved the property
Split hairs, yeah.
into one lot rather than two lots, figuring that, it was then permissible.
One lot, so there's a mobile home and,
There's two mobile homes. From my perspective of looking at it, it's two mobile homes on one lot.
okay. Aren't you only allowed to have single resident dwellings? And so if they've got two different people living on one lot, isn't that a problem?
We don't know that.
Oh,
The other argument is that that's a recreational vehicle, in which you are allowed to have a recreational vehicle on your property if it's fully contained under.
and where'd they go to law school? Just,
The
I'm
county
sorry.
looks at that structure as a temporary structure, not subject to county permit.
And I look at it as a mobile home since all these were brought in
Right.
on wheels with a
Right.
tow bar.
Okay,
And, if we need to go to court on that, again, the argument is that it's a mobile home, no matter how you classify it. And if it has a bathroom, has electricity, and the wheels can come off, and you've got a canopy over it, I don't care, you got an outside chair sitting there, it gives the indication that somebody's gonna live in it. It's more than just what it is. But I will be working on that. I don't have a end date or, I need to run past their attorney first, to make sure I get the art committee's attention. Has anybody got objections to that?
No objection here.
Mary? Mary?
No objection.
With that, residents' comments. Any resident comments? Seeing none. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Second by Sandy. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 I got 5 after 11.
11:05. All right, thank you.
Please turn off your mics. Mary?
You could probably call her back if you wanted.
So I'll go have TJ call Mary.
If you want, you can just call Mary from that phone. She's the only call-in.
I'm sorry?
We can just call Mary from that phone.
I don't.
Yeah?
It's all right. Carol? Denise?
Just
Carol?
get a dial tone on it, hit the phone button.
Carol Duran, 660.
Hang on just a second, Carol. Just be patient.
Yeah.
Did you get a dial tone?
Right at the phone, it says ready.
Okay, 1-207 699 9368.
Hello?
Hi, Mary, this is Dwayne. We need to
Hi, Joy.
continue the board meeting just for resident comments.
Oh, okay.
Stand
All
by.
right, I'll
This
call
is
back
Bill.
in.
I mean,
No,
You're
no,
fine,
here.
you're fine.
small hall.
Dwayne, I got you.
Right.
Oh, all right. All right.
Otherwise, we can get an hour. Hey, Carol.
Hi, my name is Carol Duran, 6604 New Jersey. And I had a continuing question from earlier during the
You only
meeting.
ask questions at this point about things we discussed at the workshop,
Not at the meeting?
not at the meeting, just the workshop.
Okay.
Those issues were limited to,
They were not about the PPs or the statutes.
no,
Okay, I guess I have no questions.
sorry. Denise? Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
You don't have to go there.
Okay.
I'll give you this. And then give you this to put on your ear. Other side.
Right.
Other ear.
They adjourned. And then people showed up to do, so they restarted again. Okay. But she had trouble getting hold of Mary. She's on now.
I'm trying to get past, yeah, there. Okay, thank you. Why don't you put that on the table and you can stand. You repeat after, raise your right hand. I, and your name,
Denise Beauchamp,
as a duly elected trustee of the Trailer Estates Park and Recreation District,
I do hereby publicly
no,
swear.
you got to, read.
As a duly elected trustee of the Trailer Estates Park and Recreation District,
I do hereby publicly swear that I will, to the best of my ability,
I do hereby publicly swear that I will, to the best of my ability,
uphold and obey the Florida state laws governing the Trailer Estate Park and Recreation District,
uphold and obey the Florida state law governing the Trailer Estates Park and Recreation District,
the Trailer Estates Charter, bylaws, and deed restrictions, restrictions,
the Trailer Estates Charter, bylaws, and deed restrictions,
regularly attend meetings,
regularly attend meetings,
and serve those who elect me with dignity and decorum.
and serve those who elected me with dignity and decorum.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome aboard. Can't do that. I will have the attorney contact you, or have you contact him once I tell him you're in, so he can go over the sunshine laws with you.
Right.
And I'll make the announcements that I haven't decided which way I'm going yet on some of these things, so I gotta think that through a little bit. Otherwise, welcome aboard, and with that, we're now adjourned.
At what time?
There's nobody else out there.
10:12.